Hello there, this is Lee McQueen again, talking about the Democrat primary. Just reviewing some statistics, some numbers, some facts, trying to feel the math. And my eyes were drawn to the state of Missouri. In the state of Missouri, Bernie Sanders drew to a statistical tie with Hillary Clinton, and he did that in several Midwestern states like Iowa and Illinois. And so he ran a really close race. In Missouri, approximately half of the voters cast ballots for Bernie Sanders, and slightly more than half cast votes for Hillary Clinton. So he drew to a statistical tie with Hillary Clinton during the primary vote in Missouri. But the question is, did Bernie Sanders receive at least half of the superdelegates? He received his pledge delegates, but did he receive half the superdelegates or slightly less than half? The answer is no, he didn't. Every superdelegate, every single one, endorsed Hillary Clinton. And that kind of phenomenon happened in several states where Bernie Sanders drew to a tie, or he even won the state, some states by a large majority or a landslide, and yet and still all or almost all superdelegates endorsed for Hillary Clinton. So in fact, those superdelegates disenfranchised at least half the state or the majority of the state of voters when they threw their support or announced their support for Hillary Clinton. They haven't voted yet, but it seems like their announced intentions when they do finally cast their ballots at the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia, July 25th to 28th. When they finally do cast their ballots, it seems like their intentions remain with Hillary Clinton. And that's kind of strange, even in the face of two open FBI investigations against her, even in the face of voter irregularities that were discovered and then documented by various secretaries of state in the United States, poll workers, voters themselves, and then also legal counsel. Even in the face of exit polling showing that Bernie Sanders has won in several states, but the actual voting total is nowhere near what the exit polling is. Definitely outside the margin of error. The margin of error. And even in the face of Hillary Clinton's documented lies to the press and to media and to voters about her record and her criminal investigations, and then other issues, even lying about Bernie Sanders and his record, and then also Hillary Clinton's flip-flopping on issues, moving to adopt Bernie's platform to get support from people who would otherwise vote for him, and then dropping those issues as soon as she secured the vote. So even in the face of all this, the superdelegates remained with Hillary Clinton, even despite the fact that Hillary Clinton, her poll numbers against Trump are sinking. She's falling, and Trump is showing that he can win against her in the general election. So Hillary's poll numbers against Trump are dropping, and her unfavorables continue to rise. So there's a serious problem that's brewing, and I think it's wise to pay attention to it. Yet and still, all of the superdelegates in the state of Missouri remain with Hillary Clinton. And it just seems like half of the superdelegates in that state are firm in their intentions to disenfranchise half the electorate in the state of Missouri, half the people that actually put them into office, because some of them are elected officials. And And the question is, why would they do that? Why would an elected official who represents the voters of the state and not Hillary Clinton, um, why would they vote against the voters in their state to Hillary Clinton's benefit? And speaking of benefit, we might have an answer. The state of Missouri was a beneficiary of the Hillary Victory Fund. The Missouri Democratic State Committee received $64,100 from the Hillary Victory Fund. That might be why. It would be the only explanation, because no other explanation makes sense as to why they would disenfranchise all these voters and ignore all the outlying issues about Hillary's criminal investigation, the questions about her record, the questions about her trustworthiness, her qualifications for office, her judgment, etc. So at last, we can only conclude that $64,100 might have something to do with the superdelegates' willingness to vote against their own state. So the question is, who are these mysterious superdelegates? Well, they have names. And we can kind of discover who they are. I'm going to see if I can open up my list, because I'm keeping track, and I think you should probably keep track too. So half of the superdelegates are not, approximately half are not elected officials. They are members of the DNC. And so I'm not going to focus on the members of the DNC because they technically do not answer to voters in the district. But I will call out the names of those who have been elected to office and therefore do have to answer to the voters in their districts, and then even the state too. Okay, so William Lacey Clay Jr., he's a U.S. representative, and he endorsed Clinton. Emmanuel Cleaver, representative, endorsed Clinton. Dick Gephardt, no, not Dick Gephardt. He's not elected. Claire McCaskill, she is a senator who endorsed Clinton. And then Jay Nixon, he's the governor who endorsed Clinton. And then Gregorio Sablan, he's a U.S. Sorry, scratch that last one. So basically the names are William Lacey Clay Jr., representative, Emmanuel Cleaver, representative, and then Claire McCaskill, senator, Jay Nixon, governor. Those are the elected officials. But if you want to go to Wikipedia and look at that list to see who the other members are that are not elected, but they did endorse Hillary Clinton and are still willing to disenfranchise half the voters of Missouri who wanted to send Bernie Sanders or throw support to Bernie Sanders and send him into high office. If you want those things, you can go to the Wikipedia link that I'm going to leave in the description. Okay, so some are elected and then some are DNC. And the DNC are basically leaders in the Democrat Party. On August 2nd is the day when you can get rid of the elected superdelegates. We'll just say that they are the half of the superdelegates who have made up their minds to disenfranchise half the voters of Missouri that wanted Bernie Sanders for president. And you can go to the Bernicrats list you can use the Wikipedia list to see who you want to vote out. And then you can go to the Bernicrats list to see who you want to vote in. If you want to get rid of the Clinton endorsers, you can do that by voting in the Bernicrats. And the Bernicrats are people who have endorsed Bernie. They endorsed his platform. They agree with his issues. and they're considered Bernie leaning. And there are 14 candidates from Missouri who are standing at the ready for August 2nd to go into office, to leave the ballot box, and then go into office and assist Bernie with his platform and issues for when he returns to Washington, D.C. Um, that's something productive that can be done. And let's go to see if I can bring up the Bernicrats list real quick. I have it right here. Okay. So the Bernicrats, there are 14. The primary date to vote for the state officials is August 2nd. And there is a little note there that there is one race where multiple Bernicrats are running for the same office, and that's the U.S. Senate. And you can just choose which one you want, but you can review, you can follow the links that are provided. There's website addresses, Twitters, and other information where you can follow each candidate and see which one you prefer. One U.S. candidate for Senate is Rabbi Alam. And there's an MD by his name, and I'm thinking that he might be a doctor. And then the other one is Cori Bush. So both of them are running for a Senate seat. And then you can just scroll down the list and see who else is running. There's a U.S. representative running, Maria Chappelle Nadal. She wants to represent the 1st District. And then Winston Apple wants to be lieutenant governor. Brandon Ellington is running for state representative, the 22nd District. Courtney Curtis, state representative. She's an incumbent. She wants the 73rd District. And then Rachel Johns, John Muhammad, Bruce Franks, Adam Kustra. These are all state representatives. Michael Derwart, Curtis Wild, Scott Ogilvie. He wants to be alderman in St. Louis, the 24th Ward. And then Megan Aaliyah Green. She's an incumbent. She's wanting to defend her seat, and she's in St. Louis, the 15th Ward for alderman. So you can investigate all these Bernicrats to see whether you want to put them in office. You can follow their links. You can follow their social media and see if they are who they really say they are. And you can vote them in, or you can keep them in if they're incumbents, and then vote out the people who endorse Clinton and refuse to consider all the issues and at least move into the uncommitted column. I think if they move into the uncommitted column at least, that's doing something. It means that they're using reason and they're waiting for all the issues with Hillary Clinton's campaign to get resolved. But those who refuse to listen to reason, who refuse to follow the will of the voters in their state, and who seem willing to vote against the voters in their state and vote against the interests of the voters in their state, then they should be escorted out of office. You can print that list at bernicrats.net so you know who to vote for. And then you can occupy the ballot box in Missouri on August 2nd. And that gives you plenty of time to research each candidate so you know exactly what you want to do. Good luck, Missouri.